Welcome, you can go.
Coach, that was a real tough test out there, and with the fans cheering up for the home team. How was it, if you can summarize that 80 minutes?
Well, firstly, it was an incredible atmosphere. It was awesome to see so many people in the stands and cheering. The noise was incredible, so that was brilliant, and it's great for the players to play in front of that kind of energy. And we always knew that Springboks would come out really hard at us. They're very physical side, and they definitely didn't disappoint, and they definitely took the game to us for the full 80, which was tough.
For the dying minutes of the game, what was going through your mind when you see that they might actually level up the score?
Yeah, the last few minutes was pretty tough to watch. Because after that first half, we'd had a lot of opportunities, but because I think we didn't convert and get that try at the end there, it kind of it meant South Africa were in the game for the entire 80, and they definitely brought it to us.
Coach, I don't know, maybe if it was your first time coaching against South Africa, what would you say you sort of learned from this game about South Africa and how they play, and if you do face them in the future, what would you work on and stuff like that?
To be honest, they brought what we expected them to bring, which was a huge amount of passion and a huge amount of physicality, and they brought that in abundance. So we always knew that they're a really passionate nation, obviously a real passionate rugby nation, and the physicality they brought was pretty tough to stop.
What do you think was the difference in you winning, especially in terms of what you mentioned now, what the Springboks brought, but what was the difference in terms of what the Australian women brought to the match?
I think we were, in that first half, we had opportunities wide and we managed to move the ball well. But then, when we had those couple of tries disallowed because of the groundings, that kept South Africa in it. And then, obviously, playing in that second half, we just, we didn't seem to hold on to the ball well enough to be able to put pressure on.
So, from the captain, obviously, first half it was booming fireworks, and then suddenly the second half, things went down for you guys. What was happening?
Yeah, I think that was just execution on our part, and probably coming out and maintaining that physicality for the full 80. As Jo mentioned, we previewed and we practiced this week that it was going to be a really physically tough game, and we were going to have to front up in through the forwards for the whole 80. And we probably had moments there where we lapsed in that. We allowed them to get some leg drive, get some good carry meters through the middle, and then just our ability to retain the ball through scrum and in phase play, I think at times needed a little bit of work. So I think that was probably the difference there between the first and the second half.
Obviously, looking at how things went out in the 10 minutes, what do you think you could have done better just to not give South Africa more room to maneuver?
Yeah, we had a big focus this week defensively on our chop tackles, and I think we probably let a few of those get a little bit high, creep a little bit high, which allowed disciplinary errors, which allowed them to march down the field, but also allowed them to gain those extra carry meters through the middle of the field. So definitely one area we'll be looking to fix for Scotland next week, and then I think probably our scrum let us down a little bit tonight as well.
You good, Nath?
Perfect. Just to start that, the final moment, Ash Masters coming up with a steal there, just a comment on her and how much just looking to celebrate her tying the record really motivated that side in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think the girls were pretty motivated, regardless of Ash's milestone, but the way Ash stepped up, she put some really big collisions in that last few minutes for us to stop their momentum, and all credit to her. And in the big moments, we need players like Ash to step up, and she did that.
I think, sort of looking at the final stats, I think you ended up making 90 more tackles than the South Africans did. How pleased are you with this sort of that goal line D where you just sort of kept fighting and did enough to come away with that win?
Yeah, I said to the players at the end, we were disappointed to be in that position in the first place because we kind of let ourselves down with making some poor choices and decisions in that second half. But then the passion and the heart that they showed to defend that line at the end was we were really proud of. The fight to get back and the way they put themselves on the line and stepped up, that's really difficult to coach. That comes from a group wanting to work hard for each other, and so that side of it was really pleasing. Would rather not been in that position in the first place, but we were, and they fought hard to keep the win.
You talk about mistakes. That sort of minute, it's that 21st minute where Cecilia Smith dives over and sort of ball goes loose. What's going through your mind when you see the essentially the check from the TMO and something's up?
Yeah, it was. obviously it was a great try up until that point, the way the girls had handled the ball, and we've been working on a lot of that. So yeah, disappointed, and it kind of just, that was a bit of a momentum swing there, and to have the one before half time disallowed two for not so I think it was a little knock on or something, that had an impact on the game, and it definitely gave South Africa that lifeline going into the second half, which kept them in the game.
Matt, just the sort of physicality of it. I know you sort of had played sort of Northern Hemisphere teams in the lead up to this. How's that sort of compared to what you face in the field today?
Yeah, I think it'd be up there. I think it'd be definitely one of the top physical games that I've been part of, and I'm sure the girls will all be feeling it tomorrow. But yeah, testament to South Africa. They came out and played for the full 80 with that physicality and did really well to capitalise on the opportunities they created through that. So yeah, definitely what we were expecting and what we were planning for. But yeah, they did really well out there and played physical for that whole 80.
Just on to Scotland, I believe you missed the game last time in the World Cup. Sort of the two teams played, but it always seems like a close one. What do you sort of know about them and what to expect? I guess probably without sort of seeing how they played against Japan.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been reviewing them already coming into this tournament. I'm sure it'll get a little bit more diligent this week, but we know that they're going to be a really strong team. They've built really well over the last couple of years and have a really good, platform to play off in their forwards and their set piece. So we know we'll have to be really clinical in those areas, in and around our breakdown and our ball retention, and be willing to do that and able to do that for the full 80 against them this week.
Jo, for yourself, just to bring you in, same question. You would have been sort of prepping them probably ever since you were in camp at Blacktown. What's the sort of keys to trying to shut down Scotland at this stage?
Yeah, so like Matt said, Scotland are a really experienced side. They've got a lot of test caps in that squad, so we know how experienced they are, and they're a team now that really like to move and throw the ball around, and as are we, sometimes not always at the right times, but so we know that they're a side on the up at the moment, and yeah, we need to be able to close them down defensively.
Just finally, just a word on both your wingers, Maya and Desiree, particularly sort of how they were able to just turn the game with those sort of little one-off breaks from whether it was on from their own half or just sort of kind of flip momentum as South Africa were coming back into that game.
Yeah, we know that how dangerous those two are. They've been playing exceptionally well through this block of games in this tournament. So yeah, we know if we give them a one-on-one, the chances are that they'll beat them, and they've been showing that in games. So, but against Scotland, we'll be coming up against some equally good wingers, and we need to be able to create space for them too.
Great, that's all for me. Thanks very much, and congrats on the win.
Thank you.